What's going on, guys? And in this video we'll be taking a look at the BMW Z4 M40i Agent Edition. Now this was the car that was in the recent summit that just ended this past Wednesday, which is No One's Fool. And we're going to take a look at this car to see if it's any good. So getting right into it real fast, let's get right into the customization. Alright guys, arriving into the customization, you will notice that you cannot change the visual part of this car. So what you have here is pretty much the vehicle, and honestly it is actually a little different looking than the other M40. I'll show that one in a second. There's also things on this car that you cannot get on the other one that makes it unique. So you can obviously change the colors and stuff like that if you want, whether that's standard or anything like that. I'm going to leave it as is with the red. You can put a livery on it if someone made a livery or one of the Ubisoft liveries or something like that. And then you cannot do any visual parts like I said before, so you have to leave it as is, which honestly is actually a really good looking car for what it is. We got some cool, it looks good honestly. And then for the vanity, well, whatever you have there you can put on there: smoke, tires, nitros, underglows, window tints, and horns. And then besides that, that's pretty much all there is to customization. Let's go take this thing for a drive. I was arriving outside with the vehicle, so obviously you guys did get to drive this car in the summit that was out, so you do have a general idea what it looks like. But as you'll see here, this is what the vehicle looks like. Sounds pretty good too. Anyway guys, let's go take it out for a little test drive and see how it does. So obviously this car, like I said, does have some upgrades that the other car doesn't. Visually, that is. Engine wise, I'd say it's probably basically the same car. They're not going to really release something that's too broken like that or too fast. It's not really fair to anybody. Interior looks good. As you all know, the screen to the right there does not work at all, which is okay. Looks a little weird though, having that blank thing there looking at your face. Kind of weird. But besides that, obviously, like I said, the car is pretty good for the most part from driving it for a little bit. A lot of you probably got to know this car very well from driving that one race. Unfortunately, that race was like 6 minutes long. And this car was obviously not upgraded at the time, so it probably made it kind of weird and extremely annoying having to redo that multiple times. Handling on the car is pretty good. I have not touched any of the pro settings in it, and it seems like it's doing pretty decent right now, which is pretty awesome. No one really wants to sit around and mess with the pro settings for like 3 or 4 hours, although I have done that, and let me tell you, it's crazy. The 4GT build I actually have in the summit that we just started doing before, which is Ford Addict, I spent about 3 hours on that car, so it definitely does take some time to get that thing to turn well. Obviously, this thing's not made for off-road, slows down a lot like the other cars do. Driving it on the road a little bit here, let's actually get some speed up and see how it does. Some speed. So I notice this car seems to be, I don't know how to explain it, I feel like it's on the slower side, but it's not. It's really weird, honestly. The other BMW I noticed struggled a little bit too at higher speeds that I noticed some cars didn't, but then I tested it again on the flats and it was fine. I'm actually going to take this car to the flats in a second as well and see what the top speed on this car will get to. Could be depending on where you're driving, also could make it slower too. Realism, but let's see how this thing does over here with the little turns. Overall, I have to say the car is pretty cool, guys. I know a lot of people probably didn't get this vehicle, but if you didn't, the other M40 is basically the same thing, except for some visual differences here, like the back there with the spoiler and then where the headrests are. Alright guys, so I figured I'd spawn back over here after running into that tree, and let's see what the top speed on this actually is. The other car did about 247, I believe it was, around that, which is honestly pretty average for a street class vehicle. Gives it a chance to compete with the other vehicles, at least it wasn't overpowered or anything like that. Some cars do about 235, but that car did actually 247. Is actually pretty good. So this is what Nitro Chemist, keep that in mind here. It'd be a little harder to get top speed with it without Nitro Chemist, so this one does about 241. 242 there is top speed on the Agent Edition. Now I'm going to actually take out the regular one and show you the top speed on that real fast before I do a quick race in this car. Okay, so we're now back outside in the regular Z4 M40i non-Agent Edition, and you will notice by looking at the back of the car, you will not see the headrest things there or that cool looking spoiler. Anyway, let's see how fast this car will go compared to the Agent Edition. So it seems like to me the acceleration on both cars seem to be almost identical. It doesn't seem like either one of the cars are faster than the other, which is kind of interesting. Let's see what the top speed is. Alright guys, arriving into a quick race, and yes, finally I'm not doing the sleeper race. I figured I would actually drive this car in a different race. Anyway, so how did the M40i do before the non-Agent Edition, that is? Well, it seems like they have the exact same top speed here, so you're really not missing anything there. I noticed both cars are kind of odd when it comes to acceleration. I noticed that car was struggling a little bit too, just like this one kind of is at times. Not sure if that's a glitch or what that is, but I have noticed they do that a little bit. Sometimes they struggle to accelerate, which could make this car a problem when trying to use it in races and stuff like that. Most people might just be cruising around it. I feel like a lot of people already have the cars they use for the street class, which is probably a good thing. When it comes to handling all that, like I said, both cars seem to do pretty much the same, I guess. I don't have any settings changed on this thing, and it's still handling really well on this race here in Florida. So I would say that it's, well, on par with most of the other street vehicles when it comes to handling and stuff like that. Looks and all that, like I said, the car's a little different. I will also show the quick back pieces of the M40 after this, just to show you if you can actually get these parts on that car to make that one look just like this, if you did not get a chance to get it. My overall review on this vehicle, guys, if I'm being honest here, you're really not missing out on too much. The other one pretty much does everything this thing does. I'm being completely honest, this car probably, you're not going to really be upset. If you drove, you're probably like, ah, it's alright. You probably drove this car a lot in that one race, like I did. You kind of got a chance to pretty much feel how the car is and how it drives and all that. And obviously it was on the slower side because it was not upgraded at all. I was kind of surprised how slow it was, but then again, it was not upgraded. Even when upgraded, there's probably other cars I will choose besides this vehicle here. When doing races and all that, unless you're cruising around it, that's different. But I feel like a lot of the competitive racers and all that who are trying to do races and get better times in summits or whatever that may be, or farming, they're probably not going to drive this car. But yeah, besides that, I mean, it's overall pretty decent. Like I said, if you didn't get a chance to get this vehicle, guys, you pretty much have the same car driving the other one. This one's a little different. The screens don't work in either car, so nothing to worry about there. Instrument cluster looks pretty good for the most part there. A lot of people might be upset that the screen doesn't work, but I guess it is what it is. Can't have everything with all these crazy like details and all that. Probably takes a lot of work and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, I guess I'll sum the video up right there. Don't want to blabble on. You did not miss much on the Agent Edition if you didn't get a chance to get it. That upcoming Porsche, on the other hand, that thing looks pretty awesome in a couple of weeks. Cannot wait to get that car. Let me know what cars you guys like to see added to this game. Are you guys happy with what's been added so far? Overall, I gotta admit, I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely a pretty, I guess, diverse range of vehicles. Pretty cool, honestly. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Here's the back of the regular M40i non-Agent Edition, just to show you guys this real fast here, if you're wondering. So there is no wings you can put on the vehicle that looks anything like the one on the Agent Edition. The taillight's also integrated into that one, so it is a little different, obviously, than the regular car. And then when you get to the back of the headrest there, as you will see, you will notice that you cannot change anything up there at all, whether that's skirts or the wing, bumper, none of that changes the top there. So you will notice that the Agent Edition is a little unique looking.